up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I'm Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we are in the new 2021 Chevy Trailblazer, courtesy of Turner Chevrolet in Harrisburg, PA. I'm excited for this one, brought back from the dead, essentially. If you guys remember, Trailblazer did used to be a thing up until 2009. It is now back, and a very smart move by Chevy, in my opinion, since SUVs are all the craze right now, of course. This one essentially slots in between the Trax and the Chevy Blazer, and looks a heck of a lot like the Chevy Blazer. There's an old Chevy Trailblazer right in front of me there. That's pretty cool. They're still on the road. What do you know? Having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it, and as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2021 Trailblazer. First one being the L, starting at $19,995, LS for $22,495, LT for $24,595. There is the Active for $26,395, and the RS being the one we have today, starting at, once again, $26,395. But so dependent upon the trim level that you go with, there are actually two different engine configurations for the Trailblazer. First one belonging to the LS front-wheel drive and LT front-wheel drive. That power plant is going to come from a 1.2-liter turbocharged inline 3-cylinder, putting out 137 horsepower at 5,000 RPM, 162 pound-feet of torque, available at 2,500 RPM. Power sent to the front wheels through a CVT, giving you MPG numbers coming in at approximately 28 in the city, 31 highway, taking regular unleaded fuel. But so then the other engine configuration, belonging to all other trim levels essentially, including the all-wheel drive configurations for those last two trims I just mentioned, being the 1.3-liter turbocharged inline 3-cylinder once again, 155 horsepower, 5,600 RPM, 174 pound-feet of torque, available at 1,600 RPM, sent to the front wheels or all wheels through a CVT. If you go with the front-wheel drive configuration, at least, if you were to opt for that all-wheel drive system, that is actually going to give you a 9-speed automatic transmission. So that's probably the one I would recommend, just for a little more driving emotion, I guess you could say. But all in all, MPG numbers with that one: 29 city, 33 highway front-wheel drive, and 26 in the city, 30 on the highway for the all-wheel drive, once again taking regular unleaded fuel. But so before we do any kind of accelerations, when it comes to the drive modes of the Chevy Trailblazer, there are going to be a few of them, being normal, sport, and smart, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the steering sensitivity, actually. And so having said that, before we do that acceleration test in the Trailblazer, I did want to press the checkered flag button, which is located just in front of the shifter. That is going to be your sport driving mode. It does immediately just downshift for me there, holding the RPMs at a much higher level, giving you more power on demand. So therefore, we are ready to do that acceleration test. So let me go ahead and find a straightaway here, and let's see how quickly we can get the new 2021 Trailblazer here up to speed. All right, I found our straightaway in 3, 2, 1. There it is. No spinning. That'll do the trick. Not the quickest thing in the world, but there was no spinning because of the all-wheel drive system that we had on the RS trim level here today. So definitely more than enough of acceleration for merging onto the highway, things like that. Not the quickest thing in the world, but get that if you want something quicker. But certainly no issues emerging onto the highway. That'll do. But so then when it comes to the braking setup for the 2021 Trailblazer, actually not a whole lot of information out there right now. This vehicle is still very new at the time of me filming this video, but I can tell you just off the bat, braking feel is wonderful. Immediately brings this one to a stop. There is no brake pedal delay or anything like that. If I were to venture to guess the 60 to 0 stopping distance, I would guess it comes in at around 120 feet. We'll see how close I am to that when some numbers actually come out, but braking feel definitely feels very nice. It immediately brings you to a stop in the Trailblazer, so I do like that. Touching on suspension and handling a little bit, ride quality has been perfectly fine for me so far today. Steering feel is definitely on the weightier side, especially in that sport driving mode that I have left it in for essentially this whole test drive here so far. So I do like that, but let me see, if I take it out of that sport driving mode, yeah, oh my goodness, that is a night and day difference. Good grief, it is the loosest steering feel in the world now, so I don't like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it in sport. But dang, you usually don't notice that much of a difference, but my goodness, that is a big old difference in steering feel, at least between the sport and normal driving mode. So did want to mention that. As far as cabin noise goes, perhaps the first thing I noticed when I really cranked the air on when I first started this one up, it is a very quiet air conditioner, just as efficient as any other air conditioning system, but very quiet though, almost luxury-like. So I definitely appreciate that, because you don't want the extra wind noise when you're trying to film car reviews, if you know what I'm saying. But anyways, touching on visibility, I really like visibility in the Trailblazer. One of the reasons I really like it, sometimes with second row headrests, they sometimes protrude up quite a bit, blocking your rear visibility. So with these, you don't even have to push them down or anything, because they're still relatively out of the way. So I absolutely love that. I can see perfectly fine out the back, so certainly no issues for me there. But that about rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of this beautiful 2021 Chevy Trailblazer. All right, so here she is, you guys, the all-new 2021 Chevy Trailblazer. Looks a lot like a mini Blazer in my opinion, which is a good thing. Absolutely amazing, aggressive looks. And so let's go ahead and start up front on the Trailblazer though. Unique front end is going to be had with the Active and RS trim levels. The other trim levels are going to look essentially the same up front. Black bow tie emblem you can find with the RS that we have today. Otherwise, you're going to get that gold color emblem up front. Halogen headlights are going to come standard for all trim levels. However, having said that, there is a technology package that goes for $1,720 for the Active trim and RS. And with that, you can actually get LED headlights if you wanted to go that route. But RS badging is going to be had, of course, with the RS trim level up front there. LED daytime running lights also coming standard. And you will get LED fog lights if you were to go with the LT trim level and up. But so then making our way to the side of this one, roof rails coming with the LT trim level and up, two-tone roof like we have here today coming with the Active and RS trim levels. You will find rear privacy glass, not for all trim levels, but actually for the LT trim level and up. I know that's super important for some people, but you can always, of course, tint that rear glass if you were to go with one of the lower trim levels. But LT trim level and up, though, is going to give it to you standard, though. But floating roof line, you can find that towards the back of the Trailblazer there. When it comes to the side mirrors, they are body-colored, power-adjustable side mirrors. They definitely look good there. Taking a look down at the wheel setup, 16-inch steel wheels with covers are going to come with the L, 17-inch silver painted aluminum wheels coming with the LS, 17-inch gloss black aluminum wheels with the LT and Active trim levels, and the RS that we have today is going to bump that up once again to 18-inch gloss black aluminum alloy wheels. So definitely a good variation when it comes to the wheel configurations, dependent upon the trim level that you go with. But making our way now to the back, there is a rear spoiler with an integrated brake light that does indeed come standard. Just below that, rear window wiper, LED taillights coming with the Active and RS trim levels. Of course, just below that, you're going to find trim level badging across the board. And just below it all, a single exhaust outlet if you go with the L, LS, or LT trim levels. However, if you were to go with the Active or RS trim level, you will get a dual exhaust outlet with chrome tips. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. And so, but now since we are around back of the Trailblazer, when it comes to opening that rear liftgate, it is actually a manual liftgate for all trim levels. That is the standard setup at least. However, there is an optional power liftgate, which we do of course have here today. Hands-free power liftgate, might I add, that comes with the Sun and liftgate package. It goes for $1,770. That of course also adds a panoramic sunroof, hence the first part of that name as well. So we do have that package today here. So I can press the button on the key fob, that is going to open it up. There's also a button on the liftgate itself to close it, and again, it's a hands-free liftgate, so you got that option there as well. But nonetheless, once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 25.3 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down, bumping that up to 54.4 cubic feet. It's a good bit of space back there. Rear cargo lighting, of course, comes standard across the board. There are some tie-down hooks I found back there as well. Actually, a little bit of storage area to the right in the back too. That's kind of indented a little bit back there. And also underneath the cargo floor back there, you can find a spare tire, but also around that spare tire is actually a good bit of in-floor storage too. So I did want to mention that. So that's going to be there for you once again as well. Making our way now to the rear legroom though, that comes in at 39.4 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had back there. As far as the rear ventilation goes, it comes for all trim levels. It's actually located under the front seats as opposed to the back side of the center armrest here in the front. So I did want to mention that as well. Rear center armrest with cup holders is going to come on the active trim and RS trims. It's going to be optional on the LT. So that is how you're going to be able to go ahead and get that. And you actually have a decent amount of hookups back there for those rear passengers as well, including a phone charging port, USB charging port, and a 115-volt power outlet, surprisingly. So you can actually charge up drills or maybe a hair straightener if you're a girl back there. That is pretty cool. I was actually very surprised to see that, especially at this price point in the Trailblazer. So well done, Chevy, for that. Let's go ahead and make our way now to the front seats. Manually adjustable cloth seating coming with the L and LS. LT trim level and up is going to give you a 10-way power driver's seat. RS is going to give you cloth leatherette combination. That is, of course, what we have today again. Active trim level is going to give you a full leatherette seating. And then there is a premium seating package I wanted to mention that is available for $845 for the LT trim level. That adds leatherette surfaces like the active trim. Also actually gives you a leather wrap steering wheel for the LT and a rear center armrest as well. And if you were looking for heated front seats in the Trailblazer, go with the LT trim level and up. That is going to be how you're going to go ahead and get them. But having said that, when it comes down to comfiness, perfectly fine for me. Definitely, first thing I noticed is the lumbar adjustment on the driver's side seat here. So that was absolutely wonderful. And again, that 10-way power driver's seat comes with the LT trim level and up. It's certainly very comfortable seats here in the Trailblazer. Then take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for the active and RS trim levels. And again, optional on the LT, so that's going to be there for you too. And actually, I do like with the RS trim level at least that it is a flat bottom with kind of this gloss black finish at the bottom too. Actually kind of really like that in my short test drive today, and the red contrast stitching is nice. Perforated leather on the left and right hand side, so absolutely love it. But let's go ahead and make our way now to the startup. You got your Chevy bow tie logo on the one side of the key. Flip it over, lock, unlock, button to pop the rear hatch. And again, that circular button in the middle, in case you were curious, that's actually a remote start. That's going to come with the LT trim level and up. And again, with the push button start, that's going to come with the LT trim level and up. So let's go ahead and start this one. All I'm going to do is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button, which is located just by the driver's right knee there. And so, but then once started up, you will get an RS specific gauge cluster with the RS trim level that we have today. So I did want to start by mentioning that, but nonetheless, tachometer on your left, speedometer on your right. Again, you have the RS lettering within the tachometer, kind of a carbon fiber-ish look to the middle portions of those gauges. That's pretty cool. Also, there's a decent sized digital display front and center to control what is on that digital display. There's actually steering wheel mounted controls on the right side. Actually gives you a good bit of information up there, like how many miles you have left until you hit empty. You can choose to display a digital speedometer up there as well. One of my favorite things is instant miles per gallon. I was watching that a little bit. It gives you your miles per gallon basically every second at any given time. So it kind of incentivizes you to drive more eco-friendly, I guess you could say. So that's pretty cool. But all in all, a ton of different information you could check out up there. It's all controlled through the steering wheel mounted control. So but now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. Panoramic sunroof. Again, it is part of that optional package. That optional package, again, is available for the LT trim level and up. We do have it today, so letting in so much more light for this video, so much appreciate that. Wireless phone charger is going to be optional for the RS and the active, yet another option we have here today. And that wireless phone charger is located just in front of the shifter there. So, and it's actually a decent size too for larger phones. So I did want to mention that. That's pretty cool. Automatic climate control just above that, meaning you can set your own temperature and it's going to automatically bring you to that temperature. Just above the passenger side glove box, you have a little bit of storage there with a rubberized bottom, so things are less inclined to slide around there. I do like the red accents throughout, like just around the climate control vents above the passenger side glove box. There's some red stitching to tie in with the red stitching on the actual steering wheel and the seats for that matter. You do have a ton of hookups just in front of the shifter, including auxiliary port, USB charging port, phone charging port, 12-volt power outlet. So got a lot going on there as well. And there's actually a button to lock the Trailblazer in all-wheel drive. It's located just in front of the cup holders there. So you got that too if it starts snowing perhaps in Pennsylvania like it sometimes does. Just to the right of the shifter, you have your two cup holders and actually a little slot to place your phone there, I guess, if you wanted to. Just behind the cup holders, a little bit more storage. And of course, within a center armrest, a decent amount of storage there. So a lot deeper than I thought it would be. So definitely surprised there. And you have a little tray you can pull out if you wanted to, of course. So did want to show you guys that too. But all in all, interior quality is pretty much as expected it to be at this price point for the Trailblazer. Was kind of surprised to see the panoramic sunroof though, as well as a wireless phone charger. So that was pretty much the highlights when it comes to interior quality. Let's now though go ahead and take a look at the tech display. 7-inch color touchscreen display for all trim levels across the board. However, there is an 8-inch color touchscreen display that is optional, but I will say either way you still get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, meaning if you have a smartphone, simply hook it up to the Trailblazer and you can display free navigation therefore up on that tech display. I did want to also mention a super awesome feature for the 2021 Trailblazer. Wireless Android Auto Apple CarPlay is optional for the active trim level and the RS. So that's something new that's just starting to roll out now with 2021 models, basically, is the wireless Android Auto Apple CarPlay. So you're gonna be seeing a lot more of that in the future, but the Trailblazer does have it as an option. That is pretty cool. But Bluetooth audio streaming, also standard, of course. You can check out your radio settings up there when it comes to the sound systems on the Trailblazer. L trim is going to give you 4 speakers. All other trim levels are going to give you 6 speakers. And so yet once again, although the 6-speaker sound system is the standard configuration, we do have an optional Bose sound system here with us today. So what do you say? As always, you guys, let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. And again, although there's no specs on that sound system, definitely feels like there's a subwoofer with that Bose sound system at least. That was plenty of clarity. The bass is really what impressed me, quite honestly. So that is more than enough of a sound system for the Trailblazer in the end. But last thing I wanted to mention on that tech display to you guys is when you do put the Trailblazer in reverse, you will find a rear view camera across the board coming standard, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so to start, front side curtain airbags do come standard. Also driver and passenger knee airbags up front as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Also rear child door locks in the back, tire pressure monitoring system, but also standard across the board. Standard advanced safety is actually pretty good on the Trailblazer. Lane keep assist, lane departure warning, forward collision alert, front pedestrian braking, and automatic emergency braking as well. Did want to mention there's a driver confidence package that is available for the LS trim level and up. That goes for $345, so not a bad deal for this one, but that adds side blind zone alert, rear cross traffic alert, and rear park assist as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts, tech is pretty good for the price point on the Trailblazer. I will say that. Not the best fuel economy compared to the competition, but it's not too far off, quite honestly, and the looks kind of make up for it, in my opinion. This is a very good looking SUV by Chevy, and again, the Blazer was just as good looking. It still is, so for its size, it's a very good looking SUV essentially. Would have liked to have seen LED taillights standard on all trim levels, but I guess you got to give and take in some areas. But all in all, this looks a lot kind of like the Volvo XC40 to me. Let me know if you guys agree in the comments, but this looks a lot like the XC40. I just reviewed that one earlier this year, so it's kind of fresh in my mind maybe, but it's a good thing because that's a good looking SUV too. But this, of course, is half the price. But nonetheless, that's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen there if you like. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.